Good evening, everybody. It's 5 o'clock here, and out of an abundance of caution, we gotta wear face masks now. So do your part, wear your face mask when you're in public. You know you should. This is a beautiful bandana and 2 hair bands. There are many videos online to show you how to do it, and I know the seal is not perfect right now, but I'm inside in my kitchen. So I thought that right now, while we're trying to all stay healthy and, be abundantly cautious about our health, I thought that I would do a cocktail that will cure what ails you. So let's make a penicillin. So Kevin's mom, this is for you, Liz Hudak, requested that we make a Scotch cocktail, and she was frankly shocked when I said, oh yeah, no, I have Scotch in the house because I have a huge bourbon collection and I don't drink Scotch. But I am doing this for you, Liz. It is a delightful cocktail. It's got a lot of beautiful things in it, and it also has great things to boost your immunity. So what better thing to call it than penicillin? Only the greatest medical breakthrough since, well, I guess it'll be the biggest medical breakthrough for a while until we find a vaccine for this sucker. But since we don't have that now, let's go ahead and self-medicate. So the penicillin is a Scotch cocktail that was a sort of a riff off of the Gold Rush cocktail, which has bourbon in it, and we'll do that on another episode. And it was created by Sam Ross from the Milk and Honey Bar in about 20-ish years ago. It isn't even old enough to drink yet. And in the Soho neighborhood of London. And so he did a Scotch riff on the Gold Rush, and that's what we're gonna do right now. So we're gonna start with 2 ounces of blended Scotch. You can also use single malt Scotch if you want. If you wanna get fancy and be expensive about it, go right ahead. So I'm using Johnny Walker Black Label because that's what I have. So here we go. So 2 ounces, and we're gonna pop this into our shaker. Alrighty. 1, 2, and then we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Immunity booster, vitamin C. 3/4 of an ounce. And then for our special guest, we are using a honey ginger syrup. So I actually also just poured this back into the honey bottle. I didn't use the entire bottle of honey. I had about only a cup left. So I actually put the recipe in the post in the comments. And so the way that you make this, you need to make it ahead of time. Sorry, folks. But it is 1 cup honey, 1 cup water. Simmer that together with about like a normal sized piece of ginger. You can probably use about like this much ginger. You peel it. Yes, it's a pain in the butt. You can use you can use a spoon to peel it. You can use like a very good paring knife to peel it, or you can use, just a regular old peeler. I suggest like actually popping these little nubbins off, and that makes the bigger pieces easier to peel, and then you can peel the little nubbins themselves. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that honey, that water, that ginger, pop it into a saucepan, simmer it for a little while. And by a little while, I mean like a couple of minutes, just to make sure that, the ginger starts to break down a little bit, the honey is melted, and it's been mixed with the water, and so it's all nice and together. And then I just used a funnel and popped it into back into the honey jar. And you can use a mason jar, you can use anything. Again, please don't use plastic. You can use metal or glass, because plastic, again, it sucks all of those flavors into it. And so it's really hard to get out. And so I'm always a big fan of glass or metal. So then we are going to do an equal part of the honey ginger syrup to the lemon juice. So that's 3/4 of an ounce. And again, ginger, I mean, immunity booster, right? As is honey, and honey is so good for you. Obviously, yes, there's sugar, but like honey is great. This is like a cold toddy. That's not a thing, but you get my drift. So we've got all of this in a shaker, and what comes next? Ice. So pop ice in. And then we're going to shake it vigorously. Just like a centrifuge does with pharmaceutical compounds. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I just make drinks. Here we go. You can do squats while you do it, like bar, you know, multitasking, bar aerobics, patent pending, trademark pending. Just make sure you don't knock anything on the counter over. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's really cold on the outside too. And then I'm gonna double strain this into a rocks glass. Double strainer again. I have my Hawthorne strainer for the first line of defense. Second strainer, a very fine metal mesh strainer. This is a tea strainer for the second line of defense because there's ice and there's lemon little bits and bobs in there, and you want to make sure that this is as clear and pleasant to drink as possible. So here we are. I can already tell it's healing me. It heals everything that ails me. It truly does. And this is when I need like that scrolling at the bottom. It's like, Erin Petrie is not a doctor. Please do not listen to any medical advice she gives you. So you've been warned. None of this is medical advice, but it is drinking advice. So there you go. Now, the fun part about this particular cocktail is it has a float, if you will. Usually a float has sparkling wine on it, you know, because it literally floats at the top because it's bubbles. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna put in about a 1/5, 1/6 of an ounce of Islay Scotch. And here we've got Lefroy. Ron Swanson would be proud. I know that Ron Swanson drinks Lagavulin, but it's also a peaty Scotch. And so it's just that one's more expensive. So what we're gonna do is we are going to, here we go. I'm gonna use my mixing glass and pop this on top so you can see. And so we're just going to do a little float on top. So I'm gonna fill up my bar spoon, which is about the right size, and just literally just float it on top. It doesn't totally float, but it gives that nice aromatic peatiness at the front. So, you know, I've said before that aromatics are so important in cocktails because that's the first thing that hits you, right? And smell is such an integral part of taste. You smell something before you taste it. And if you've ever been stuffed up or sick or even just like, hold your nose and try to taste something, you can't taste it because taste and smell are so intertwined. So this gives you that peatiness at the beginning, and then it rolls into that milder blended Scotch, or again, single malt if you really want to get fancy. I just don't want to use my Glenmorangie or my Oban because that's what my mother drinks when she comes here, so have to save it. So, and don't worry, Liz, I'm gonna re-up this for you before you come next time. So yeah, and then we're going to garnish it with crystallized ginger or candied ginger. This is crystallized ginger, which essentially means it's been like mooshed up and made into a little candy. And I'm gonna do a little lemon peel. X marks the spot, right? I guess it could also be like the lemon cross, the yellow cross. I don't know, but here we are. And there you have it. It might have saved the dinosaurs. Who knows? It did just save my Monday. Cheers, everybody. See you next time.